I'd love to hear just your overall path, your journey, because again, we were joking a little bit off air. You're a JUCO bandit, obviously South Carolina and Ray Tanner, and we're seeing it now with Mark Kingston. Junior college baseball, I think it's at times maybe the casual fan doesn't understand, but I think that it's an undervalued piece. You know, your JUCO guys, they come in, they've played college baseball, they have experience. Maybe you feel like you're taking a little bit less of a risk with a JUCO guy versus, a true freshman that's never been at the college level. And again, we've seen it pay off for South Carolina. I mean, throughout the course of history, if you will. But you're one of those guys. You're from Miramar, Florida, though, and you mentioned you played at the same junior college with a ton of former Gamecocks, LB Danzler, most notably, that we had on the show just a few weeks ago. But talk about your path to South Carolina. Again, coming from the state of Florida, you go the JUCO route. Obviously, Coach Tanner and that crew saw you. What were those conversations like? Which schools did it come down to for you, and why'd you choose to come to Columbia?
Oh, definitely, man. Growing up in just right outside of Miami. And this is before Facebook.
Right.
This is before Twitter, social media. This is before knowing really anything. I mean, I'm a junior in high school and I'm South Carolina. I don't even know. I'm just kind of playing. I don't even, where is that? What is that? So right. As time went on, here I am my senior year, and I'll never forget it. True story. I'm already committed to Manatee, where Justin Harris, Tim Seaton, and obviously LB Danzler. And I'm already committed there. And I'm watching the College World Series in 2002. And that's when South Carolina played a national championship against Texas that year. And I'm watching these guys. And I'm watching guys like Landon and Drew Meyer and Dyson, Bondo. And I'm like, man, I like the way these guys play.
Right.
Like they were just grinders getting after it. And I'm like, I'm going to go to this junior college. I'm going to tear it up. And then I'm going to go to South Carolina. And I kind of just said it in my head, you know what? Hey, man. And then I get there and things are going well. And I'm like, man, I might have a chance.
Yeah.
So I remember things started really clicking for me my junior year. And that's when Coach Toman, the former recruiting coordinator there, he came to a bunch of our games, saw me play, liked what he saw. And he, started recruiting me, started talking to me. And before you know it, going into my sophomore year, I was committed to South Carolina.
What a legend Coach Toman is. It's so funny.
Dude.
Like I've had some guys that have been around him, but we really haven't ever stopped to talk about him. Were you there when the Toman tirade happened? Were you there for that?
I was not.
Okay, I think that was 04
right.
that maybe that happened.
Yeah.
What a legend, though. I mean, so many stories about Toman and his antics, man.
Oh, definitely, man. No, Toman was great, man. I mean, on the field, he was tough, and he was, and then he was also fun too.
Right.
He could kick it both ways with us. So he was great.
Was Monty Lee there when you were there?
He was.
Okay,
yeah.
So Monty was there.
Yeah.
Tanner. I'm just thinking just the legendary coaching staff led by Tanner. I mean, he really had that thing rolling.
Oh, Coach Lee was our first base coach and our hitting guy, and he worked with the outfielders. And Mark Calvey was our pitching coach.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So actually, when I was in high school, he was actually the pitching coach at FIU down in Miami.
Gotcha.
So we came in together. Actually, his first year was 04-05 season. That was my first year.
I got you.
So
I obviously we're talking a little bit off here about Ray Tanner and just the legend that is, and we were kind of joking around that, and I've talked about this before on the show, but the guys that played in 10 and 11 and 12 and later in his career, they talked about how tough it was playing for Tanner, but those guys just have no clue just about how tough he was. And again, he got the most out of his players and it worked. And again, we were talking off air that most great coaches you look at them, they were tough. They demanded excellence. They demanded perfection, even if it wasn't really possible or attainable, but that's just how how they operated, how they were wired. Just talk about your experience with Coach Tanner, what it was like for you. I mean, again, he demanded the best out of you guys. There's no question, but it obviously worked.
Yeah, sure. No, definitely. One thing about him, he was the same every day. I mean, he did not let us give in ever. We could win 25 games in a row. I mean, it was the same every day. There was no things are going great for us. We can kind of, relax a little and but no, every day at practice, it was the same every day.
Right.
That same hard getting after it. practicing hard, playing hard during a midweek game. You know, like it didn't matter. It did not matter. You know, every single day you had to come out and give it your best every day. So, I mean, it was hats off to him. I learned so much from him. So,
yeah.